Raw is randomness. I guess that's a pretty good way to describe tonight. I know I said in my last video that I made that I would not do any more Raws unless there was some decent talking points. But y'all, there were some decent talking points tonight on Raw. This was probably one of the best go home shows that I have seen in months for Hell in a Cell. They did a great job for selling how completely evil and horrible and demonic the cell can be and how it can ruin people's careers. Usually they would do that by, trying to scare the ever loving crap out of you. But on the real, they did an awesome job. I'm not gonna lie. They did a very bang up job in promoting how completely creeped out how completely wrong and evil this cell can be and how it can ruin careers. Because usually they will always have the sale. They will always show the sale way too early, and then the matches would be predictable, and you really wouldn't care about Hell in a Cell because they would never use it. But the one thing I can definitely say about for one of the night segments, pretty much one of the segments of the night, in my humble opinion, was Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins. Their little banter in the ring, even though Dean Ambrose's the way it started out was a bit weird. Not to mention that he took a saw to a junk of a dummy and tried to cut it in half and then take a drill straight to it, which was a little bit off, but it fits Dean Ambrose. But then you have Seth Rollins coming back, and then out of the blue, straight up randomness, here comes Mick Foley. Pretty much coming down the ramp. Mick Foley practically sold that segment. If it wasn't for Mick Foley being in the middle, it wouldn't have been as epic and as dynamic as it was. I guess people are kind of iffy about using the word epic, but I will say the word epic for this. And the reason why I will is because, my goodness, it fits. It fits so well, and it really did sell how completely brutal that this match could actually be. If they got a hardcore legend like Mick Foley to be in the middle of this thing, not to mention you already know about the feud and the intensity and the rage between Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins, you know that this is going to be a brutal match at Hell in a Cell, and I'm looking forward to actually seeing that. Seriously, this, with Mick Foley being in the middle and Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins, that chemistry was unbelievable, to where I'm literally anxious to see how this match is going to turn out. Now, I know a lot of people have done videos about this potentially not being the main event and how they're going to cut it off if it's not. I'm going to be honest with you. The way that they had so many twists and turns on Raw tonight, they're going to do the same thing to Hell in a Cell. And don't sell it short because Cena will be the main event. Actually watch it for what it is. A very brutal gimmick pay-per-view, which is what it's supposed to be. So I'm kind of looking forward to actually see it because seeing that match because of that segment. I really am. And speaking of segments or vignettes or whatever, the vignettes has been going down with Bray Wyatt and how he pretty much let go of his two minions. Shows me that something big is going to happen. The one person actually said on Twitter that Bray Wyatt is the next Undertaker. It could be a possibility, not so much streak-wise, but the way that his character is larger than life. I honestly would not believe, I honestly kind of do believe, and maybe have a little bit of truth there, that Bray Wyatt is going to take the place of the Undertaker. He's going to take a place of the whole, the mysticism, the brutality, as well as the complete, he's an enigma at this moment. We really don't know exactly what his plan is for anything. He's just randomly beating people up like back in the day before he actually before he became the Wyatt family, and how completely mysterious his character was. Honestly, I really believe that he is going to pretty much be the next Undertaker. Not so much streak-wise, like I said, but as a character being larger than life. I'm really hoping that that's going to be the case because his character is way too rare to let go. But sure, we had an opener. The opener was kind of forgettable and usually predictable. And honestly, the Authority shouldn't have been there. If the Authority wasn't there at all, it still would have been a decent Raw. Like, the segments itself kind of really sold the entire show to me without Triple H even being involved. I think Triple H should have not been there. He should have took like a hiatus or something. He should have just took off and did something else, took the night off. Because if he did, it still would have been a great Raw without him there. And with him there, it just didn't feel like it mattered, in my opinion. It just felt like another pointless segment, a pointless backstage segment with Triple H in it trying to be the authority, when honestly he should take a page from Stephanie and just take the night off. And I really wish he did, because it was just, he had no point in being there at all. But with the one thing that kind of sort of confuses me a bit is this whole thing, this whole rivalry that's somehow trying to come back between John Cena and Randy Orton. We all know that Randy Orton we all know he's not going to win. I mean, it's a given. When I just read on an article, and if I get the article, I think I actually saved it, then I'm probably going to put it up on the Wrestling Fan Nation page, that Randy Orton is now a part-timer. He's not going to be traveling like everybody else is, but he is going to be on Raws and on some pay-per-views. It's not the same contract as Brock Lesnar, but he is actually planning on turning face, or actually planning on trying to turn him face towards next year, starting January 2015. They might up it, who knows, but the thing is, they're going to turn him face. But him going against Cena, of course he has to be the heel. But even though people are somewhat, well, actually, I don't think anybody really cared, because he tried to talk over the crowd. And honestly, he's really great as a heel. But the thing is, why they keep turning him face is beyond me. But besides all that, the rivalry between John Cena and Randy Orton was okay at best. But Randy Orton is known to put on great matches depending on his opponent that he's actually wrestling. So it's not necessarily a big deal. I'm not going to say that the rivalry between Orton and John Cena was legendary. I'm not going to necessarily say that, but I'm just going to say that I don't understand why they're rehyping this. I really don't. I would rather it just be Dean Ambrose versus Seth Rollins in Hell in a Cell, and just have a random match for Orton and Cena. There shouldn't be two Hell in a Cell matches. It should be just one. And Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins has the most heat behind it. So honestly, I don't really know why they're having two. I don't. But speaking of segments, I will say that Randy Orton coming out there, yeah, he tried to get the heat up, but I will say that the match, that the actual segment itself belonged to both Paul Heyman and John Cena. I'm not going to lie, John Cena was hilarious. He was hilarious for this segment, not to mention that he literally did put a lyrical word whooping upon Randall Keith Orton. There was no way that he could compete with John Cena at that segment. Until we got Paul Heyman to come out on the ring, or would come out in the ring on behalf of his client, Brock Lesnar. And of course, you got the man pretty much putting a whole verbal beat down on the both of those guys. There's no way that anybody in that ring at the time can compete with Paul Heyman. There's absolutely no way. So either or, you got Paul Heyman selling the segment even more, and then you got John Cena pretty much selling the segment too. So either or, even though this rivalry has been there, done that, got the t-shirt several times, I will say that without Paul Heyman, you wouldn't be hyped up about this match. So in a way, I'm okay with it being on there. I'm just not okay with it being a Hell in a Cell match. But as time goes on, and we see other matches there, the one thing that kind of made me happy and put a smile on my face is actually seeing Damien Mizdow, whatever, actually getting a pin and actually winning the match. It was really nice to actually see that, and I was really happy to see that, really. And the one thing that makes me really happy was there was no guest host tonight. I was unbelievably happy. But I will say that they really did pull off all stops. But here is the talking point of the night, pretty much between every person on Twitter tonight, as well as any other social media that you can think of. It was the match, or the segment with Lana and Rusev. Now, me being on the real, I'm sick of Rusev. I'm sick of Rusev. I'm sick of the Russian gimmick. The Cold War has ended. It's been over for many years now. For somebody that had to literally go through the whole Russian gimmick during the Golden Era, what I was the one, the golden era that I was used to watching, that I grew up watching, that's all you saw. You pretty much saw the whole rivalry thing, but there was a reason for that. There was a reason for the Russian gimmick back in the day, especially with the events going on around that time. So it made sense to actually have that gimmick there. But on the real, it's getting old. I really wish that it would just disappear, but the only problem is that is all he has. He can't have anything else. I mean, he's stuck with being a Russian bad guy for his entire career. So unfortunately, you gotta learn to live with it, whether you hate it or not, and I have to learn to live with it as well. But besides all that, the biggest moment of the night, which really scratched a lot of people's heads and made you really wonder if it was true, or if it was real, or if it was fake, or if a person was a plant. Nobody really knows, but people make assumptions that it was probably an indie plant. But let's be honest, if that guy, and I'm talking about the soldier that randomly got in the ring when people tried to pull him out because he was pulling the flag and got kicked in the head by Rusev, if that was actually a plant, that's sad on the part of WWE just to sell Big Show versus Rusev at Hell in a Cell. I'm hoping it wasn't, because if it was, that was a shameless ploy just to have people watch your match. It was. It really was. But if it wasn't, whoa. All I have to say is that I'm gonna say two things about that part. Number one, like I said before, if it was fake and you had a plant there, that's sad on behalf of WWE, because you shouldn't have to get a plant or somebody or a fake soldier to actually try to get people to watch your match and make it more patriotic. That would be a kick in the face to a lot of the soldiers out there that actually fought the war and came back just to watch your show. That would be a kick in the face to them. That'd be a kick in the face to the military. I don't think that the WWE is that stupid to go that far. I really don't think so. Could the guy be a random, could that guy actually be a random fan that came out, that came actually over the barrier and tried to get in the ring because he was pulling the flag? Could be. But really, nobody really knows whether or not this guy is actually a plant or whether or not this guy is actually a real soldier. The fact is, it was a really just heart-gripping match. I mean, not match, but it was a heart-gripping moment. You really, I'm telling you, I was like stunned. I was like, what did I just see? Like, I had no idea what was going on. I'm still floored by it. The fact that Rusev kicked him in the head, and Big Show sold it. He sold it well. I'm not going to deny it. He sold it. Seriously. One of the best segments I've actually seen him in. And I really do believe that this is going to be a very brutal pay-per-view. Like, after seeing the look on the face of Big Show, how angry he looked, even if it was fake, even if he had those crocodile tears, I don't care. He freaking sold it. And I am interested in seeing how that match is going to turn out. They got to bring the pain now. Seriously, they can't be docile about this. They got to bring the freaking pain. And I hope that they actually do. And as for the soldier, whether or not he's fake or real, I have no idea. But I know either or, if the guy is a plant and he's not a real soldier, WWE is going to get a lot of bad fan letters. And if he is a real soldier, then WWE needs to bring the pain. Either or, it's a lose-win for them at this moment. But guys, my overall thoughts is this. Well, actually, before that, let me get to the main event. Now, there's one gripe that I actually do have about the main event. I did not want this to actually have the people in the main event of Hell in a Cell to actually kind of somewhat be in Hell in a Cell. You know, would they have the cell come down at the very end? The thing is, you kind of want to have the element of surprise. If these guys weren't involved and didn't touch at all, it would literally bring a lot more intensity to the overall match itself at the pay-per-view. Instead of trying to give you a glimpse of what could happen, they should have just left it alone and had something else, or maybe had another segment towards the end of the show. Something that will bring more attention to the match and not actually give you a preview. If you get a preview, you're not going to be too excited about it when you see it. And that means their expectations got to be a lot higher. Like, your expectations are going to be higher when you watch this pay-per-view after seeing a preview of the main event. So I really wish they didn't do that, but it doesn't taint the overall show at all. It don't. So my overall view is this. Guys, this is one of the best go-home shows that I have seen in a very long time. I actually stayed awake watching it. I was interested in every segment except for the Divas. I didn't really care much for it, and that's sad because I love the Divas, but I didn't much care for it. So hopefully they bring the pain to Hell in a Cell as well. But regardless of that, I'm really excited about Hell in a Cell. I'm excited about the card. I am actually going to do a review. Now, I'm actually going to do a review of the pay-per-view as well as a preview towards the pay-per-view probably sometime this week. But either or, guys, I am excited about it, and I want to hear your thoughts. Leave a comment in the comment section below or send me a video response on how you personally feel about this Raw. Whether or not you think this Raw is bad, whether or not you think it's good. I really want to hear your thoughts, and I want to know whether or not you think that the soldier is fake, whether or not you know he's a plant. I want to know your thoughts about it. It's Nature Clear 30 signing off. Peace out. Later.